Good morning, everyone. So today, welcome you all. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see how we can present the case study, like the complete structure and what are the things involved in both UX and UI design. So before we begin, let me just share the WhatsApp group link. Okay, so let's begin. What we'll be seeing today is the role and responsibilities in UX UI design, and uh, meeting the client, like what problem statement could the client bring in, and how will we be approaching towards the client requirements and solving that problem in the UX and UI design aspects, like what are the needs of the user and what are the expectations which the user is having. Based on that, how we can bring in the solution or propose the approach to proceed forward towards building the solution. And we'll also see the research part, where we can interview the users. How do we need to interview the users, how to do competitor analysis, why is it required in order to bring in the solution. And we'll also involve in the hands-on practice. And then we'll also look into the tool introduction Figma. So how do we use the tool in order to build the portfolio, the landing page especially. How do we hope onto that. And then we'll proceed with the wireframing phase, wherein we'll focus on one problem statement today. We'll work on the case study towards it completely, and then we'll move to the visual design for the same problem statement, and we'll try to prototype it for the like the subtle micro interactions for the screen that we are working on UI. And then I'll explain you the case study framework, like structuring the case study in order to add it in the portfolio, right? So before we jump into the actual content, let me ask you guys to introduce yourselves. So please introduce yourself, your name, where are you working currently.
Yeah, hi. My name is Kadiravan. I'm working in Associate UI Designer from Intopus Technologies.
Okay. Others? Everyone is an introvert here. Anyone else want to introduce?
Hi, myself Hariharan. I'm working in Ford Motor Private Company as a trade analyst.
Okay, great. So let's see where you are. Like we'll focus on the today's presentation on covering the topics like understanding user psychology and behavior, like what the user is actually expecting. We'll explore how human psychology influences user interactions with digital products. and we'll also try to understand the cognitive biases, habits of the user, the perception principles, and the emotional triggers that would help designers create experiences which we can resonate deeply with the users. So why this is important? Because we can make the product more intuitive and engaging. For example, if we are applying the UX principles, then we can simplify the decision making for the users so that they'll arrive at a decision quickly, enhancing the uh, business. Like we can improve the uh, customer retention rate, and we can also improve converting the visitors to regular customers. So even for that, UX is important, right? And interactive design principles and techniques, like how do we respond effectively to user actions. We'll discuss best practices for creating interactive elements such as buttons, menus, and feedback animations that will actually guide users smoothly through tasks. And we'll explore the latest industry trends and methodologies, practical design sprints and frameworks. Like we can gain hands-on experience on the approaches, and user research fundamentals, wherein we can understand the users. Understanding users is like a great thing in UX design while we are designing a solution for the ultimate user. We'll cover the basics of user research methods such as interviews uh, and data analysis. So we'll learn how to gather actionable insights that inform design decisions and validate solutions. And also the portfolio creation strategies, like we can discuss how to build a compelling UX UI design portfolio that will showcase your design and design thinking, and also your skills. Okay, so yeah, someone has joined. Let me introduce myself. I'm Muthulakshmi, and I'm excited to take you through this immersive UX UI design bootcamp. Just give me a minute. Someone is trying to join, but they are unable to join. It seems I'll share the link with them. Okay. So here we'll learn the full process from idea to prototype. And about me, uh, I'm currently mentoring the group. Okay. I'm currently mentoring the group sessions, like for the beginners in a design institute. Alongside, I'm also reviewing mentees' case studies, like giving them the feedback, and then they'll incorporate it, get back again. We'll be discussing on the case studies, guiding them through building their portfolio. And I do. I have also authored a book in UX UI design, and I do speak in events. So I've been previously I've been working in Lollipop Design Studio, wherein I have worked on different sectors like fintech, e-commerce, and health tech. So that's all about me. And now let's see the responsibilities of a UX UI designer. So being a UX UI designer, you will first have to understand the user needs. Like the foundation of effective UX UI design will be highly dependent on understanding the user needs, their behaviors, what are the pain points which they are facing, like pain points in the sense the frustrations which the user is facing. And this also involves systematic research methodologies such as user interviews, like how do we understand the user needs? By doing user interview, giving survey, like how can we take survey, there are different survey methods which we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. And these are the ways how we can understand the user better. And for example, UX designers, we analyze how users interact with existing products, and we'll also try to identify the friction points where the user stops. Why we'll have to figure out why the user has stopped using this application, what made him stop using the application, and how can we solve that problem. If the users are using the website and then they are not using the app, then we should find out a way how we can incorporate what are the strategies that we need to work on to improve that. So we can get the analytics data, right, from the developer, or in the backend we can fetch the data. In that we can understand why the users are using the website and then not the app. So we should try to optimize the app as much as the user is, uh, to meet the user needs. And we should also document the responses during the task completion. Like we can create user personas are like detailed profiles of the user. That user profile should represent the target audience, like the target user group, and it should contextualize findings and align uh, design decisions with real world scenarios. By giving importance to empathy, by understanding the user and what are their requirements, we as designers can ensure solutions are addressing authentic problems rather than assumptions. We need not go with biased assumptions by thinking ourselves. I can give you an example for this. When we observe how elderly users struggle with small touch targets, could lead to larger buttons and simplified navigation. So if the touch target that we are designing for, if a button is really small and the elders who are using the mobile application are not able to click it, so as a result there are many misclicks, and they are not getting the desired result which they are actually expecting. So this leads to user frustration. As a result, what we need to do is we should observe the user struggle, and we should make the touch targets a little bit bigger, and it should have larger buttons and a simplified navigation for the people's use. Simplifying the user experience, like we need to simplify the complexity, so it requires balancing aesthetics with functionality. And we as designers, to achieve this, we should streamline the workflows and eliminating unnecessary steps that are involved. Without We should not make the user uh, take a lot of efforts in order to achieve their goal. It should be as simple as possible. For this, the example would be reducing the form fields in the checkout process. For example, they are buying a product in Amazon, and then the shipping address is asked, and then again the billing address is asked. If both are going to be the same, we can just have a checkbox, so the user can tick the checkbox. It is same as my shipping address, so they do not repeat the same address again and again. So we need to try to simplify the user experience. And also here, information architecture, like the structure of the entire app plays a critical role. Like we need to organize the content logically in order to ensure users find what they need intuitively. And UI design focuses on the visual interactive elements that directly the users can engage with, and this could include selecting the color palettes, the typography, uh, the style sheet like the components, the images, illustrations. These things involved in the UI design. And creating prototypes where the user can either, the designer can either work on the micro interactions in the same page, or they can prototype from one screen to another screen, and how it is connected and it is as a flow. We can do prototyping even for wireframes for the better understanding of the user. If you need to test it with the user, you need to do prototyping for the wireframe as well, so that it will be connected like a entire flow. And then collaboration. So we'll have to collaborate with the fellow designers if we are working in the same project, or even though if we are not working in the same project, still we need to collaborate with the other designers, so that we can brainstorm even a particular phase. We can just uh, try to get their ideas, what they are actually thinking, because design is subjective. So it's better that we collaborate with other designers, the developers, the users, and uh, UX design lead, UI design lead, right? By collaborating with them, we can effectively brainstorm is one thing, and we can get the user insights, which will help us in designing the user experience to the entire product that we are aiming for. And then the usability testing is where we'll design the entire app, or maybe in the part before we proceed with the wireframing stage, we'll work on the before we proceed with the UI design phase, we'll just work on the wireframes, do the prototype, and then test it with the users to understand how they are feeling, what kind of uh, experience are they having. So during that time, we can even do again an empathy map to understand what the user is saying, what they are doing, like. So these things will help us being a UX UI designer. Then how to become a UI UX designer? So first we'll have to unlearn or consciously discard outdated knowledge and assumptions. It is important for UX UI designer to uh, allow ourselves to evolving trends. Like we need to use the AI tools to understand better about how we can bring in the solutions. Maybe for UX copies, you can make use of ChatGPT, Claude. So these AI tools you can work on. And then we need to understand the user needs and technological advancements. We need to embrace unlearning, so designers can improve their problem solving abilities faster. Like you can just explore in your own creative space, and then we can ultimately create more effective and user centered designs. So we being a designer, we need to have an open mind. So what one works for one designer might not work for another, and there is no single perfect design. So be open to new ideas and start exploring more. And we need to read constantly. Only when we are reading constantly, we can develop ourselves. Like take inspiration from others in the field. You can read books, articles in mediums, watch videos in YouTube. Self-taught designers are more. And look for how currently the designers are in Twitter. Follow them in Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I could also show you an personality, like he's Soren Everson. You can just Google I'll show you how he has actually contributed in design field. You have to stay updated to see how the people are actually in the design field. So he has introduced the features in the current applications which are not actually existing. See here, we are not aware of these applications. Let me take a familiar application. Yeah, Google Maps. So it has an option to share instructions with other drivers. Currently this feature is not existing in Google Maps, but he has introduced this feature and then he has shared it in all social media. So in the same way he has been constantly following up, and like he's been constantly posting in social media by introducing a lot of features in the existing apps. Like he can just imagine, and then he could think, what if is this feature available in this particular platform. So in that way he has introduced a lot of features. Just we can replicate the same screen which is from the existing app, and then uh, near to that create the own feature, like a feature introduction, and then post it in social media. That's what he has been doing. So you should also practice regularly, like take the designs from the existing application, just take a screenshot of it, paste it in Figma, and then try to replicate the same design. So what you'll learn in that is, you can learn the UI design, like the typography which we'll have to use, the colors, the components that we can make use of. Once we are starting to practice it regularly, then it will be easy for us when it comes to designing your own app from scratch. And also you should be reading the articles that is coming up in Medium every day. In Medium blog you can follow up the article. So what are the design trends that are actually taking on, and you should be staying updated in the current field. Like recently Figma config 2025 has happened, so you should also take part in these watch parties, maybe remote or even in the design communities, you know. And then psychology in user principles, like how the users perceive elements, the visual cues that will help users guide throughout the app. So we need to learn the gestalt principles, like those are the important principles that will help us in designing the interface to meet the user needs. And we need to pay attention to small details, like in design even minor details can make a huge impact for the users. Example, it could be the spacing between two CTA buttons that will create a good user experience. And we need to learn the technical skills, like uh, prototyping, low fidelity mockups, color theory, and how colors influence the decision, like design decisions. No, we will be using the primary colors for the important CTA buttons. So how these are being influenced in the design. So those could be the technical skills and the usage of the tools. It could be Figma, Adobe XD, Sketch, or Miro. So it is actually a continuous process. You need to regularly work on personal projects or a freelance. The more you practice, the more and effective the design will be. Okay. Now let's get started with meeting the client. If you are uh, in a company, you are working for a project. Okay. So are in a project, and then you are meeting the client. The client is giving a brief like what is his requirement, the problem statement which the users are facing, and you know the company is trying to solve the product which they are building is trying to solve that problem, and that problem is being explained to you since you are the designer which he is picked. So you'll have to work on this activity. I'll share the brief. So this client has come to you, and he has been asking the problem statement he's trying to explain you. He's saying that he's trying to launch a mental wellness app for the students aged between 18 to 25. Why? Because they are anxious, they are often burnt out, and they are always being stressed about some other the thing that is happening in their personal or in their uh, you know uh, in the being a student, whatever they are facing. So they want a solution that would help them manage the stress daily through activities like journal and AI support. So they want the client, the client wants this to be a habit forming, friendly, and also deeply a useful application. So what are the questions that we will be asking the client in the discovery call? Discovery call would be the first call with the client to understand the requirements even more better. So you'll have to work on this FigJam file. I'll share you the link. I'm sharing the problem statement as well. Just a minute. So what questions would you ask for this problem statement in order to understand about the project better? Add a sticky note and then start working on, like you can just add a sticky note and then start adding the questions that you have to ask the client.